How do? Welcome to Musings of a Schlep. This time I'm going to talk to you about the time that I kind of bossed Trump around a little bit. You know, not like necessarily stood up to him, but I'm like, no, it's not going to happen that way, bro. And his reaction was pretty funny to me, to everybody when I kind of stood up to him a little bit in a professional, polite way. Well, that's debatable. Definitely in a lighthearted way. Definitely in a lighthearted way. Basically, we were at a Exeter Town Hall built in 1850. Okay, and I had a ticket. Well, I had entrance to the VIP back room, and this is an extremely small back room. This venue was pretty small. I mean, the Tsar of Russia was installed that year. That's how old this building is. So we were in the back room waiting for him to show up, and this was before Secret Service. So it was, after Secret Service, everything was a nightmare. The Secret Service and I have had a run-in with each other at least twice, over a sitting president, the other over a candidate for president. That's a whole nother video. So anyhow, I was in the back room with two other adults, just 3 VIPs. That's it. Usually the VIP room is, a couple dozen people. And so I assumed we were going to shake hands, get a picture, get an autograph, and, say a couple of things that we're concerned about. And then before he goes on to the people inside that have been waiting for, hours, waiting for a long time. So finally he shows up, and he comes into the back room, and he's being whisked right past us, and we're like, what's going on? And he goes, oh, Trump's got to do an interview in the back room, the VIP room. We weren't even in the VIP room. We were just in the back hallway. The VIP room is all decked out with American flags. It looks professional. So that's where we were supposed to do our pictures. And so I'm like, man, so we're waiting around. VIP, yeah, VIP. Looks like the reporters were the VIP. And so one of his staffers that I knew came back to me in a frantic, and I'm wearing my suit because I'm going to get a picture with, the future president of the United States. And he starts to, without even asking, he starts taking the American flag lapel off my, the pin off my lapel of my suit. So what are you doing? He goes, I need this for my picture with Trump. He goes, oh, Mr. Trump needs it. I said, oh, help yourself. So now actually, every time we see President Trump on TV wearing the American flag, we always joke that that's mine, that he got that for me. So I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to tell you about what happened when he came back out. And then I'm going to tell you how one of his advisors for his second term had a very similar experience to what I just said. But we do need to roll the intro before we get going. So having said that, let's cue the intro and then we'll get right into it. All right? Booyah! So finally, he's done with the interviews. He comes back out to the back hallway, and one of the parents had a little girl there with him. So Mr. Trump is talking to the father, talking to the kid. What I noticed about Trump is he doesn't kind of look over your shoulders like, oh, I gotta go. My point is, when he's talking to you, he's talking to you. He's looking you in the eye. I've met him in a suit and tie, and I've met him after work in street clothes. And if you're engaging with him, he pretty much treats you the same way, either way. And he's very inquisitive. He will, if you say something that strikes his curiosity, it will inspire him to start asking questions. And that happened with me at another event. This event, I think, was the first time I met him. At another event, I was a volunteer. I got to be VIP because I was a volunteer. And like I said before, this is pre-Secret Service, so this is very early on. Like I initially was with Ted Cruz, but then when I started reading some of the Ted Cruz's legal language, that when he was talking to the Gang of Eight, in 2013 he spoke to the Gang of Eight,
and that allows those who are here illegally to come in out of the shadows.
That amendment would have allowed undocumented immigrants to remain in the U.S. permanently and obtain legal status. So how do you square that circle?
All those Marco Rubio and the like. That's why I don't like Marco Rubio as a pick. Chuck Schumer was on that board. Anyhow, a bunch of rhinos and extremist leftists were on this Gang of Eight. They had a Gang of Eight that was focused on immigration. Basically, they wanted amnesty, and Marco Rubio was on that. And I don't know how I went down that rabbit trail. This is why a lot of times if I'm going to say do a YouTube video, I'll write my whole script out. More so when I speak before the mayor and board of aldermen, I'll write my script out because I got 3 minutes, and I can't afford all these rabbit trails. So anyhow, finally, Trump. I had a Bible with me for him to sign because I've been not collecting. Well, I was a semi-professional autograph collector. Like, I don't know why I would say semi-professional, because I didn't really sell them back then. I traded my autographs for baseball cards. But growing up, going to baseball games, I used to get autographs all the time. I'm pretty sure I had every autograph in the National League of every player that I knew of, except for Mike Marshall, because you had to have a straight A report card in order to get his autograph. I've explained that in a different video. But anyhow, I have many times been the only person to get an autograph. Like one time Oliver North was giving a speech and some clown jumped up. I was in front with my Nikon FM2. And I always used to wear like a lanyard and kind of pretend like I'm with the media so I can get right up front. And some clown jumped up in front of Ollie and was getting ready to unfurl some banner, to protest Oliver North. And Ollie had his own secret. He had his own protective security team because of international terrorist threats against him. And so I jumped up immediately and yanked the sign out of the guy's hand before all the media in the back could put that as the lead of their story of Oliver North visiting Manchester, New Hampshire. And then his security detail came up. They're like, calm down. I'm like, hey, I'm not attacking the guy. I just don't want the media to see this sign. And so that little scuffle kind of ended, and they whisked him out the back room. And then Ollie looked down at me, and he's like, he gave me that head nod, So afterward, now his team was like hyper-focused. They wanted to whisk him out of the room. But no, not today, because G-Man's there to get his autograph, which I still have that autograph. And I jumped up there, and I said, Ollie, Mr. North. And he stopped. He stopped his team, and he came back, and he signed specifically for me because what I had done for him. And members of the media came up to me, and they're like, hey, what was on that sign? Because I had it all folded up, a big piece of cardboard, probably with a crown, And I'm like, no, you ain't seen this sign. Not today. Not on my watch. So anyhow, Trump now signs that Bible, which I put up on eBay. And like I said, this is early 2015, probably. And I had been getting a lot of hits on that autographed Bible because it was the only one. I used to tell people, Donald Trump doesn't even have a Bible signed by Donald Trump, And people were offering me $300, $300, $350. And I knew that's all it was worth at that time, at that stage of the campaign. And I'm like, nope, $900, $900. I had a COA. I had already shipped it out to a PSA, and it came back certified autograph. And boom, $900. I made $5,000 off of Trump. But I made so much off of Mitt Romney and George Bush, all these candidates. I've made bank, because they get enough money for me. This is my way of kind of getting money back from them. So anyhow, back to my story in the back room. Donald Trump finally gets to me, signs the Bible, and he says, "Okay, listen, guys, they're out there waiting for me. We're gonna do the pictures after, right?" So we had our moment. We shook his hand. We talked whatever. We did a small little banter, and then his staff team is trying to urge him out. Let's go, Mr. Trump. Let's go, Mr. Trump. So Trump's like, okay, we got to go out, and I go, no, because Trump was like, we're gonna do the pictures after, right? So I've been doing this political thing, the First in the Nation primary for a long time. This is Mr. Trump's first campaign, so I know how it works, right? And I'm like, no. I said, we're doing the pictures now, because once you go out there, guess what? You might not ever come back here. We'll be waiting here forever. And Trump's like, who is this guy? I like this guy. We're doing the pictures now. So, and the reason I decided to videotape this morning, because he just selected a guy to come back into his campaign as an advisor, Dr. Sebastian Gorky. And Dr. Gorky, we had this very similar experience. And I've got the video and I'm going to show it to you. So anyhow, so Mr. Trump's like, he's all like, oh yeah, we're definitely getting pictures now. And this guy's like, who is this guy, right? So he goes to shake my hand for the picture. And I go, no, Mr. Trump, we're going to do the ghetto shake. We're going to look like old friends. So him and I are doing the ghetto shake, like, what's up, And you can see in the picture that he's just laughing. And I think I have a couple of pictures where, like, during this whole moment, I didn't know, but the guy who had my camera was just snapping away. And so that was pretty fun. That was really cool. And to see him, after that, we went into the main auditorium and we got to watch the speech, and to see him up on stage with my American flag lapel made me pretty proud. So fast forward now to, November 2024, and he's picking his cabinet. Sebastian Gorky was on a radio program, a podcast, Alex Marlow of Breitbart, and he was interviewing Gorka, and Dr. Gorka was talking about this experience where he has like counterterrorism expertise. He's a Hungarian. He speaks like 4 or 5 languages, and the U.S. government hired him to maybe be their liaison in Hungary for some kind of counterterrorism, intelligence gathering type stuff. And then afterwards, he came to America. He got hired, forget, like a professor to teach or something. This type of counterterrorism information. I think even with the military, he may have worked in not the Pentagon. Anyhow, he worked, I think, for the military. So he's way, way high up there. The U.S. government trusted this guy, 100%. And so at some time, at one point, he got a phone call from Corey Lewandowski. And I met Corey a few times because Corey was the campaign advisor for Donald DJT in 2016. And he went on to form his own lobbyist group, And so, matter of fact, I think I have Corey's phone number. Hold on. I'm going to die if this is still in here. Oh, gosh. There he is. I'm sure that's an old number that doesn't work anymore. But anyhow, so Corey calls Gorky and says, hey, I've been watching what you've been doing on Breitbart, because he also was doing a podcast or writing for Breitbart. And so Corey's like, Mr. Trump is looking for an advisor to help him do some debate prep for a debate, and he wanted this guy to come in. So obviously Gorky goes to Gorka. I keep saying Gorky. I said Gorky's. I get that. There must be a Gorky Park. I think was that during Perestroika. Something. I got a Scorpion song, in the back of my mind somewhere. Anyhow. He goes to Trump Tower, and he sits down with Donald Trump, and Corey's over there in the corner, and Trump is asking him about all kinds of intelligence matters, and matter of fact, I'll let the video tell a story. I set it up. Okay, I'll let the video tell a story.
After 5.5 years of that, I went to Quantico. I had the military chair of theory at the Marine Corps University. And I'm sitting there one July day, and I get a phone call from somebody called Corey Lewandowski. No idea who Corey is. And he'd seen my work in Breitbart as your colleague, as national security editor. And he said, candidate Trump is preparing for the fall GOP primary debate on national security. Would you be willing to meet with him? And I said, what, you mean the reality TV guy, the real estate mogul? Yeah, that guy. So I said, Okay, so they flew me to New York. I met Donald Trump, then Mr. Trump, sitting in his office in Trump Tower. There's only the three of us. Corey's in the corner. Amazing blue sky discussion about everything from the Civil War to ISIS to the utility or non-utility of nuclear weapons. Clearly, he's really interested in this stuff. And then he does a classic Trump. He kills the conversation dead, turns to Corey and says, "No, I like this guy. Let's hire him." So I signed an NDA, just like Stormy Daniels. That's the commonality between me and Stormy.
Sure is.
And I started writing briefing papers on 6 topics: Iran, North Korea, ISIS, China, Russia, that the president used to prep for the debate.
Who is this guy? I like this guy. That's what Trump said to me. Who is this guy? I like this guy. I want to hire him. I wish he would have said that to me. They should make a new position in the White House, a cabinet position, as a blue collar representative. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally like been contemplating cutting my hair back to my shoulder, getting rid of this mustache, kind of cleaning it up, buttoning it up a little bit. But if I was Trump's blue collar representative, some cabinet position, not really cabinet position, but an adversarial position, I think one of the first things I would do would be like, okay, nobody gets into the White House with a cell phone. Those days are over. Duh. But yeah, I would bounce a lot of things off of Trump, from a working class schlepp's perspective. And if he wanted to bounce things off of me, I could either say my opinion or say I have no opinion on that. That's, you got to, I mean, I don't want to just make stuff up. Anyhow, so oh yeah, wouldn't that be the ball man? But I'd go in. I would wear a suit and tie, but I would keep the hair, man. People are like, who's that? Who do you think it is? That blue collar rep. Anyhow, man, I'll tell you what, DJT, he's a legit guy to talk to, man. I talked to him many times. One time I got 3 finger points from him. 3. You know when like he goes on stage and he's like, and he looks down and he sees people he knows, he goes, and I've been in the audience before, and I'm like, oh, if he sees me, he's definitely pointing, but I missed out. But on the rope, once people once he's done with the stump, you go up to the rope line and you get autographs, you shake his hand or whatever, and he's like, and he sees me, and he's signing something for me. I forget what it was, and probably a uncirculated mid-condition dollar bill. I had a few of those signed, and he's like, "How's it going out there?" So I'll tell you how it's going, Mr. Trump. I'm a blue collar guy. I work. I make deliveries. I go to convenience stores. I bump into people all the time who've never even voted in their life, and they have told me that they are going to vote for the first time in their life just because it's you. He's like, right? Gives you that point. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he looks back at me, and he's like, oh, I got more. He goes, okay, what else? I go, I'll tell you what, Mr. President. And you know why I'm calling you Mr. President? Because nobody in the history of the Republican Party that has won New Hampshire and then turn around and won, South Carolina, has ever failed to go on to become the nominee for the Republican, as a Republican candidate. And if you're the Republican candidate, you're going to smoke Hillary Clinton like a bag of dope. Well, I probably didn't say that last part. But he's like, and then he looked over, and I go, oh yeah, you want more? He's like, and I don't even remember what the last thing I talked, and he went, 3 finger points from 45 and 47. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, who is this guy? I like this guy. That guy's name is Greg Salt. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope I edit this well. I don't know. Anyhow, God bless, say your prayers, read your Bible. Wow, that was my old tagline for my old TV show years and years ago. Doing this stuff is like, a lot of these young kids, they want to like be like these successful podcasters. I'm not really chasing that. I'm just working on my craft. As if this is the craft God gave me the ability to do. Everybody has a gift, and if I don't do what I feel like I'm called to do, because I do Bible study things. This is like, I had to stop what I'm doing on the side just to make this video. I've been working on a Bible study for 1.5 years. It's right now, it's 16,000 words that I plan to upload to YouTube, and it's going to be over 2 hours long. and it's called Hear, O Israel, and it's me talking about how you can find the Messiah within the ancient Hebrew scriptures, the Tanakh, and the messianic prophecies. Jesus fulfilled 300 of them, but there's still, something like 900 more to fulfill. But the first time he came as a suffering servant, and he's going to come back again as the victorious king. A lot of sages today are looking for two messiahs, because one guy can't fulfill these prophecies where he's pierced for our iniquities, and he's like, by his sacrifice our sins are atoned for, and then all of a sudden at the same time be a victorious king who brings about peace on earth. How can he be the same person? But he is. We're looking for his second coming. But I digress. So that's why like I'm not putting up a video per week, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, building a library. So one day when I am ready, I can upload these new channels on YouTube, and because my main channel doesn't have a niche. I've had people comment in my section, "Who's your target audience?" Me. So YouTube is not what it used to be. I miss the old YouTube where guys, just like me, just sat at home and just videotaped or did whatever, filmed their daughters dance and threw it all up. Now you got to have these special screenshots, what are they called? Thumbnails, fancy thumbnails. I hate making the thumbnails, man. Anyhow, all right, I hope you enjoy it. And sorry for the rambling, but sorry, not sorry. All right, take care. Peace.